Hi, this is Cindy from Vintage to New with another just really quick little sewing tutorial. I'm going to show you today how to put a zipper in a super quick and easy way. But the first thing I want to do is to talk about zippers. When you go over to the notions aisle, they come in little packages like this. Here's the information you need to know. This is a polyester zipper. Okay, so it's talking about the teeth right here. These are polyester teeth. All right, they come in metal, plastic, all different kinds of ones. But if you're just making a dress or a top, I prefer using just this little polyester zipper. All right, it tells you that it's 9 inches or 23 centimeters long. All right, so that's what that means. And they come in all different sizes. This is a package for a navy blue zipper, so it tells me that. It tells me it's an all-purpose zipper, and then some other information down here. The other important thing that you need to know is there's two different major types of zippers. Okay, this one unzips and stops right here. There's a big metal stop that keeps it from going any farther, okay? If you're going to make a jacket, you're going to want to get what they call a parting zipper. So you're going to unzip it and then you can take it apart down here at the bottom. But if you're sewing a dress or a top or something like that, you want to have one that has this little stop right there. Okay, this is a zipper pull. That's what it's called. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to overcast the edges, finish the edges of where we're going to put the zipper in. Now, the reason you do this is once you start putting your zipper in, you can't go back and finish those edges. So do that first. I did this with a serger. If you don't have a serger, I have a little video that shows how to overcast the edge using a zigzag. All right. For this little demonstration, I'm going to pretend that this is where I want my zipper to end. So if it was a child's little dress or something like that, the bodice would have ended up here and this would have gone down into the skirt. If it was for an adult top or dress or something like that, it would be long enough that it would come clear down to the waist area. So when you're putting your garment on, you have plenty of room to get your arms in and out comfortably. All right, when I bought my zipper, I bought it long enough that where I want it to end, that little metal piece right there, and I'm going to have a good bit of it stick up above the top of the neck. The old-fashioned way of putting a zipper in, you would do it like this, and you have to sew around this little zipper pull right here, and that for me always caused lots of trouble. So the way I'm going to show you today is a super simple way to do it, but that's how we're going to start. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this over to our machine and we're going to set our machine on a basting stitch, the longest stitches that you have on your sewing machine. We're going to start here at the top and sew a 1/2 inch seam all the way down the back. And I'm going to do just one little back tack at the beginning, and I'm going to sew using those basting stitches all the way down to this pin. And then I'm going to change my stitch length to my normal sewing stitch length, and I'm going to sew from there all the way to the end. Again, still going with the 1/2 inch seam. So let me do that and show you what it looks like. Okay, I wanted to show you, see how big those stitches are? They're really long, and then here's where my pin was, and then from here down I did smaller stitches, my normal stitch length that I would use when I would be sewing a garment. So now I'm going to go over and press the seam open, but I'm going to keep track of where this pin is and I'll show you. Okay, so you can see that I've pressed that seam open so it's nice and flat. I kept track of where that pin is and put it right back in so that I know where to place my zipper. The next thing I'm going to use is just an all-purpose glue stick. We use these sometimes in quilting to help us hold something together so it doesn't move on us. This is washable, it washes out. I've not used it on like silks or something like that, but for cotton like this that's just machine washable, this works really, really well. So what I'm going to do is starting right where that pin is, I'm just going to put glue down both sides of my seam that I ironed open. So now I've got glue on there. And then I'm going to very carefully, okay, I want the zipper pull side down, all right? I'm going to take this little metal piece and I'm going to put it right below the pin that we have right here, marking where we changed our stitch length. And then I'm just going to make sure that the teeth of the zipper are going right up the center of that seam that we sewed, okay? So just like that. So let's pin it. Okay, so now to pin this, I'm going to flip it up to the right side, all right? And with my fingers, you can feel those teeth of the zipper. So you can see that it's right between my thumbs, right there. So I know that it's right behind that seam that I sewed. And I'm going to just pin it on each side. I'm going to make my pins so that they don't go across the seam that I sewed, because I'm going to go sewing down that and then up the other side, and I don't want the pin from the other side to get in the way. So I'm just going to, every few inches, put a little pin in, and the whole time I'm checking to be sure that the teeth of that zipper are still just right behind that seam. Okay, so I'm going to pin this all the way up, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to pin the other side. Okay, you can see I have it pinned, and notice that my pins stay on the side that they're on, so that when I'm sewing up each side of the zipper, the pin from the other side doesn't get in the way. Now, here is that pin that we originally put in, and it's still over here on the back side. So I'm going to grab that one, and then I'm going to feel with my fingers where that metal piece is. That metal piece is just right there. There's no mistaking it. You can feel it right there. And so I'm going to put this pin below that little metal piece right there by about 1/4 of an inch. All right, so that's going to be where I will pivot and go back up the other side. And I want to be sure that I never get my sewing machine so that I sew on that metal piece right there, because that would be really bad. All right, so the next thing you need is the zipper foot that comes with your sewing machine. And zipper feet look different from sewing machine to sewing machine. This particular one is really nice because it gives me a nice little 1/4 inch between there and the side here. Not all zipper feet have that. So you got to deal with what you have. And so basically when I sew, this side of my zipper foot right there is going to just go right alongside the teeth of the zipper. That's going to help me guide it all the way down by pushing against the teeth of the zipper right there. If you don't have that little guide to help you go down, you're just going to go and do as straight a stitch as you can, 1/4 inch on both sides of that seam from the center of your zipper. So let me show you. Okay, and this is why we wanted to do one little back tack here at the top, because I want to be sure that that stays nice and even, and that it stays together when we get to sewing our zipper. So as you can see, my zipper foot is just on this, resting on the side of the teeth right there. And so now I'm just going to start sewing, removing my pins as I go down. And you'll notice, sorry about that, how these pins are out of the way. That's what I was talking about earlier. So anyway, I'm just going to sew all the way down this side of the zipper. Okay, I've sewn all the way down to that needle that's going across. That little metal piece is right up here. So I'm going to sew down to my needle, my pin, and pull that out. Then I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to pivot my fabric. I'm going to double check and make sure that that little metal piece is out of the way. Then I'm going to go across, and I like to do a double stitch down here at the bottom. All right, so that's that. And then I just pivot, and then I sew up the other side of the zipper, doing exactly the same thing all the way up to the top. Okay, so you can see that it's sewn in all the way down. Okay, here's the bottom part where I went across. That little metal piece, you can feel it, is right there, okay? I kept my stitches nice and straight, and the center of the teeth of the zipper is right behind that line. That's our goal. So our next thing is we take our little seam ripper, and because we use that basting stitch, there's just not very many, and it's really easy to get your seam ripper in there and just start going down that seam, ripping it open. Now, you have to be careful that you don't cut your fabric, so you just might want to do one little stitch at a time, but you just work your way down until you've opened it up. Okay, it's all opened up, all right, and you can see that the teeth of the zipper are just right there in the center. Now I'm going to take some time and I'm going to make sure I pull out all these little pieces of cut thread that are here to make it look nice and neat. Okay, so you can see I've taken time and gotten it all cleaned out. I should be able to take my zipper and unzip it. Have a very nice fit. Okay, so now here comes the next part that I really want you to pay attention to. Unzip your zipper, all right? And this is the scary part. You're going to cut off your zipper up here. Now remember, unzip your zipper so that the little tie, or the little zipper pull is down here, all right? Now the next thing we're going to do before we do anything else is we're going to take this over to our machine and we're going to sew at 1/4 inch up here, back and forth across here, making a little bar tack. You want to make a tack that goes across the teeth of the zipper at 1/4 inch up here. Let me show you. Okay, I'm at 1/4 inch from the top, and I'm just going to sew over the zipper and back, over the zipper and back, probably 3 or 4 times. All right, and then I'm going to do that on the other side too. And what this does is this temporarily holds your zipper, gives you a zipper stop. Let's see what it looks like. So that gives us a zipper stop right here. So when we zip our zipper up, it's going to not come off the end, because if you pull this little zipper pull off the end of this kind of a zipper, you can't put it back on, and so you would have to tear your zipper out and start all over. And do not skip this little step right here, because you think, well, I'm going to put the collar on or the facing on or whatever, and I won't forget and zip my zipper up, because I've done that. I did that just the other day, and so I had to take my zipper out and start all over. So always put this little tack in. Okay, so now if this was a real garment, I would be putting my collar on, or however I'm going to finish up here around the neck. And you may want to you know, clip this back to get rid of some of the bulk when you're putting your facing on, or whatever you're doing up here, but it works out really well. And how simple was that? You've now installed a zipper, and it was totally painless and super easy. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, this is Cindy from Vintage to New.